GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, I'm Lauren Dupuis. The rain that halted the National Bank Open has pushed play back 2 days, and downtown commuters are seeing minor delays as construction winds down. Meanwhile, over 100 flood victims gathered at Pierrefonds Town Hall demanding action. Over to you, Ryan.
The Canadiens have signed defenseman Maximilian Schubert to a 1-year, 2-way contract for the upcoming season, acquiring him from Utah Mammoth.
Montreal's hockey team confirmed the addition of defenseman Maximilian Schubert on a 1-year, 2-way deal after the Utah trade.
The contract covers the upcoming season, letting Schubert shift between the NHL and AHL depending on roster needs.
All right, let's get into it. The headlines start with the Canadiens signing Schubert and other local stories coming up next. Here are our top stories. Heavy rain halted play at IGA Stadium in Montreal on August 2nd and 3rd, forcing a 2-day delay to the National Bank Open. Tennis Canada says the planned retractable roof renovation remains years away. Marion Kate has the full story.
Heavy rain hammered the IGA Stadium Thursday, turning the hard courts into slick, water-logged surfaces and halting every match in progress. Players stood in the tunnel, shoes soaked, while officials posted notices of postponement. Fans huddled under umbrellas, some slipping out of the stands as water seeped into the aisles. The downpour persisted through Friday, extending the interruption to a full 2 days and pushing the tournament schedule well beyond its original plan. Tournament organizers confirmed that the planned roof renovation at IGA Stadium, announced last year, remains years away from completion, meaning the stadium will still lack protection from future weather. Officials are now working to reshuffle the remaining draws and accommodate the delayed matches. Marion Kate, GMNA News, Montreal.
Alexis Galarneau suffered a first-round knockout at the National Bank of Montreal Omnium today, ending his bid in the track cycling contest held at Stade IGA. The French-Canadian rider who entered the event as a national contender was overtaken in the opening sprint and failed to advance to the quarterfinals. Officials confirmed the result shortly after the race, noting that the competition's tightly packed schedule left little margin for error. The Omnium, a multi-race series that tests speed, endurance, and tactics, draws elite cyclists from across the continent each summer. Galarneau's early exit will reshape the field as the remaining athletes vie for the coveted title. Stade IGA, a converted baseball park on the island's east side, provides a 250-meter wooden velodrome that meets international standards. The next round is slated to commence later this afternoon, with the podium still wide open.
More than 100 residents gathered in front of Pierrefonds Town Hall on Monday to demand urgent solutions and accountability after the recent floods that swept parts of the island. Demonstrators, many of whom saw their homes inundated by heavy rains, held signs and shouted pleas for immediate municipal assistance and a clear plan to protect vulnerable neighborhoods. City officials arrived later in the afternoon, acknowledging the severity of the damage and promising to review emergency response protocols. The protest, organized by local flood victim groups, highlighted growing frustration over delayed relief and unclear communication from municipal services. Police maintained a calm presence, ensuring the crowd remained peaceful while traffic on Rue St. Charles was temporarily rerouted. Authorities said a detailed report on the flooding and a timeline for infrastructure upgrades will be released within the coming weeks.
Quebec's measles outbreak is nearing its end after 28 cases have been reported province-wide. Health officials say transmission is limited. Denise Lariviere has the full story.
The province's measles outbreak is winding down, officials say, after a total of 28 cases have been confirmed across Quebec. Health authorities point to the low number as a sign that the virus is no longer spreading widely. Clinics that saw a surge in vaccinations earlier this year are now returning to routine schedules, while schools that temporarily heightened monitoring have lifted extra precautions. The Public Health Agency continues to advise anyone who suspects exposure to seek medical advice, but the focus has shifted to wrapping up contact tracing and finalizing immunization records. With the last known cluster contained, officials expect the outbreak to be declared over in the coming weeks. Denis Lariviere, GMNA News, Montreal.
Intense storms rolled across southern Quebec on Sunday, turning violent as a possible tornado touched down, sending residents scrambling for shelter. Meteorologists described the atmosphere as unusually unstable, producing wind gusts that ripped roofs off homes and hurling debris through neighborhoods. Eyewitnesses in the Richelieu Valley reported a funnel-shaped vortex that lingered briefly before dissipating, leaving a trail of downed trees and damaged power lines. Emergency crews responded quickly, securing the area and restoring electricity where possible. Local officials warned that the severe weather was a rare event for the region, emphasizing the need for vigilance during future storms. No fatalities have been confirmed, but several injuries were reported, and families are assessing damage to property and vehicles. Roads near St. Laurent and the Richelieu corridor remained blocked as fallen trees hampered traffic, and police advised motorists to proceed with caution. Coming up, the police warning as the construction break ends, and what the delayed National Bank Open means for fans. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back. Tadej Pogačar, the Slovene star who burst onto the world scene in 2019, announced his schedule for the summer. He will head to Spain to ride the upcoming Vuelta a España, set to begin in late August, and will therefore sit out the Grand Prix de Quebec and the Grand Prix de Montreal that take place earlier in the month. The decision means the two Canadian road racing events will proceed without the defending champion, while Pogačar focuses on the 3-week Spanish tour that concludes the Grand Tour calendar. Organizers of the Quebec and Montreal races confirmed his absence and said the fields remain strong with local talent and other international riders. Fans can still catch the Vuelta live on television and follow Pogačar's quest for another major title.
Quebec's construction holiday ends this week, prompting the Sûreté du Québec to urge motorists to drive cautiously amid rising traffic and potential hazards. Philippe Nadeau has the full story.
Police are reminding drivers to slow down and stay alert as Quebec's summer construction pause draws to a close. The Sûreté du Québec says the end of the holiday, which traditionally halts most road work for several weeks, will see crews returning to highways and city streets across the province. With crews back on site, lane closures, equipment, and debris are likely to appear more frequently, raising the risk of sudden slowdowns or accidents. Motorists are asked to obey posted signs, follow detour routes, and keep a safe distance from work zones. The police also advise checking radio or app updates for real-time alerts before setting out. Philippe Nadeau, GMNA News, Montreal.
During the recent construction holiday, the Société de l'Assurance Automobile du Québec reported 18 road deaths across the province. Officials said the majority of those fatalities were preventable, underscoring lingering safety gaps despite a decade of stable overall traffic mortality. The construction pause, traditionally meant to reduce congestion, instead coincided with a spike in lethal incidents, prompting the SAAQ to urge drivers to heed reduced visibility zones and temporary signage. While Quebec's long-term fatality rate has held steady, this year's toll marks a stark deviation that authorities attribute to lapses in caution and inadequate compliance with detour protocols. Police investigations are ongoing, and the agency plans to release detailed recommendations aimed at preventing a repeat of the tragedy in future work stop periods. The loss has left dozens of families grieving, and the SAAQ said it will work with municipal partners to tighten enforcement of temporary traffic measures.
Monday's tremor near Quebec City reminded residents that the province sits on a modest seismic zone. A 2.8 magnitude quake was felt across the surrounding area, rattling windows and prompting brief alarms in schools and offices. No injuries were reported, and early assessments indicated no structural damage. Provincial emergency officials confirmed the event was minor, noting that low-magnitude quakes occur sporadically in the region. Seismologists from the National Monitoring Network recorded the shake at a depth typical for the local fault lines, and said the magnitude falls well below thresholds that trigger automatic alerts. Authorities urged citizens to stay informed through official channels, though they emphasized that such tremors rarely lead to significant harm. The incident follows a pattern of occasional, gentle seismic activity that has been documented in the Quebec City corridor over recent years.
Ariane Lalancette captured the women's title at the Ottawa Ironman Triathlon, while Kian Sundarji took the men's crown in the long-distance race held in Ottawa, Ontario on August 2. Philippe Nadeau has the full story.
Ariane Lalancette surged ahead in the final stretch of the Ottawa Ironman Triathlon, clinching the women's title after a grueling swim, bike, and run. Across the finish line, Kian Sundarji crossed first in the men's division, completing the race in a time that placed him atop the podium. The competition, held on the weekend of August 2nd, drew athletes from across Canada, including a strong contingent from the University of Calgary. Spectators lined the Rideau Canal and downtown streets as the triathletes tackled the 3.8-kilometer swim, a 180-kilometer bike course, and a 42-kilometer run. Both winners celebrated with their teams before heading to the award ceremony. Philippe Nadeau, GMNA News, Ottawa.
Let's get a look at your morning forecast with our weather team.
A strengthening high pushes dry, clear air across Montreal, while a fast northwest jet stream anchors the calm. On this date, the all-time high reached 32.2 degrees Celsius in 2016, a blistering peak that rode the tail of a province-wide heat wave. The record low of 13.7 degrees fell in 2019, when an Arctic air mass slipped southward, plunging the city into an unseasonal freeze. Normal climate for early August hovers around 22 degrees high and 16 degrees low, so today's 16 degrees sits comfortably near the seasonal minimum, while the upcoming highs will climb back toward the norm. The live radar shows a broad swath of clear air over southern Quebec, with no echo north of the St. Lawrence. The absence of precipitation confirms the high pressure that has settled over the region, while the fast northwest jet stream aloft is steering any lingering moisture well eastward. Expect the calm to persist through the morning, with no rain reaching the city today. At 7 this morning, Montreal sits at 16 degrees under a clear sky, humidity near 79%, and a light west wind 10 kilometers per hour, gusting up to 26. High pressure is rising, sealing in dry air while a strong northwest jet at roughly 146 kilometers per hour streams aloft, suppressing cloud development. As the sun climbs, temperatures will rise steadily, reaching 23 by noon, 25 mid-afternoon, and holding near 23 at sunset. The UV index will sit at 6, and wind will peak at 32 kilometers per hour from the southwest, feeling breezy but manageable. No weather alerts are active, and the atmosphere will remain dry through the day. Tuesday will climb to 25 degrees high and dip to 16 at night, remaining completely clear. Wednesday nudges higher, with a high of 28 and a low of 17, still under blue skies. Thursday introduces the first chance of rain. Temperatures hold at 28 high and 21 low, with roughly 40% probability of showers, mainly in the afternoon as a weak frontal boundary slides east. Friday turns overcast and the rain risk climbs to 55%, high 27, low 21, as a slow-moving low-pressure system drifts northward. Saturday keeps the high at 27 and the low at 21, but the chance of rain remains 55%, despite generally clear conditions in the morning. The pattern shows a gradual shift from summer dryness to a more unsettled, wetter stretch through the weekend. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic updates. A look at tonight's Toronto Wintour and Sami Landry, plus the Canadiens' new defenseman signing. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Major eastbound traffic is backed up in the Ville-Marie Tunnel between Robert Bourassa and St. Laurent. The tunnel is moving slowly, adding about 10 minutes. Drivers heading east should consider Rue Saint Laurent or Autoroute Trent Dieu. Southbound traffic on Boulevard Gouin between Gouin and Henry Bourassa stays congested due to construction. Expect a 5-minute delay and early lane merges. At the Dorval roundabout, exit 56 for the airport is a major hindrance. Queues are forming and speeds are reduced. Airport-bound drivers should allow 15 extra minutes or use Autoroute Sync. All STM bus and metro services run on schedule with no interruptions. Other major arteries, including Autoroute Quinns and Rue Saint-Denis, are moving freely. The afternoon commute should improve as tunnel work wraps up early evening and Gouin traffic normalizes. Expect moderate flow on the east side after rush hour, with most routes returning to normal speeds.
Trana Winter lights up the gay village tonight as part of the Fierté Montreal Festival, bringing bold performance art to the streets, perfect for a vibrant night out. The show mixes visual art and live music, turning the block into an immersive playground. Sami Landry follows later on the Fierté program, offering soulful rhythms that keep the celebration rolling. His blend of folk and electronic beats draws crowds, keeping the Pride vibe alive. The International First Peoples Festival continues at Place des Festivals, showcasing Indigenous film, music and dance, a chance to experience powerful stories now. Film screenings and traditional drumming circles offer a deep dive into underrepresented cultures. Looking ahead, Afro Monde Festival arrives on August 8 at Parc Jean Drapeau, promising cutting-edge electronic beats and a weekend of summer energy you won't want to miss. With iCircumflex Lesenic curating, expect fresh talent and surprise collaborations that define the season. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Canadians busy this offseason, roster moves, prospect rankings, and a forward question. Montreal closes the loop on the Joshua Roy trade. Defenseman Maximilian Schuber, acquired from the Utah Mammoth in that deal, has now signed a 1-year, 2-way contract for 2026-27. Two-way terms tell you everything. He'll compete for a roster spot but has a clear path through Laval if needed. It is prospect season in Montreal. The annual Top 25 Under-25 series is underway, with a record-tying 55 players eligible. Anyone born after September 15, 2001 qualifies. With this much young talent in the pipeline, the rankings will spark real debate about who pushes for an NHL roster spot first. The Canadians still have a forward question to answer. The conversation around Rickard Rakell is picking up steam, the idea being he bridges the gap until Michael Hage is ready to contribute at the NHL level. It is a classic front office calculation, win now versus wait, and Montreal has to decide how patient it wants to be.
St. Catherine West boutiques in downtown Montreal are feeling a new boost, thanks to the city's expanded financial aid program. The municipal government just added more than 20 construction impact zones, from Fleury to Barry de Maisonneuve, giving eligible retailers, rental and consumer service shops up to $40,000 a fiscal year. The help comes with faster processing and lower eligibility thresholds, meaning owners can focus on serving their neighbors instead of paperwork. For the family-run cafes and independent fashion shops that line the street, the funding keeps doors open while the downtown arteries are repaved and the metro line upgrades proceed. It's a reminder that these storefronts are the heartbeat of Montreal, stitching community together one shopfront at a time. Stay tuned as we uncover how Quebecers' desk heat sensors are reshaping hybrid work and the cyber breach targeting St. Niles water system.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From city hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
Welcome back. Quebecer divisions are installing heat sensors beneath office desks across Quebec to monitor occupancy and refine hybrid workspace utilization as employers seek data-driven solutions. Denis Lariviere has the full story.
Under the polished surface of each desk in the Quebecer office wing, technicians are fastening compact heat sensors that will record the temperature rise when a person sits down. The devices, no larger than a coaster, link to a central system that logs occupancy in real time, allowing facilities managers to see which workstations are actually used throughout the day. Employees passing by can see the small metal brackets being secured to the desk legs, while supervisors monitor a dashboard that aggregates the data to adjust desk allocation and reduce unused space. The rollout began this week across several divisions, part of a broader move by employers to gather concrete usage metrics as hybrid schedules become the norm. Denis Lariviere, GMNA News, Montreal.
A Russian hacking group breached St. Niall's municipal drinking water system, prompting cybersecurity experts to trace the intrusion back to the organized actors. The incident occurred on Sunday, August 2, 2026. Marion Kate has the full story.
Authorities say a coordinated cyber attack struck the drinking water treatment plant in St. Niall on Sunday afternoon. Municipal operators noticed irregular network traffic and immediately isolated the control system, prompting a temporary shutdown of water flow to protect public health. A provincial cybersecurity task force was called in, and their analysis linked the intrusion to an organized Russian hacking group known for targeting critical infrastructure. Engineers worked through the night to verify that no contaminants entered the supply and to restore the automated controls. The municipality confirmed that water service resumed this morning without interruption to households. Police have opened a criminal investigation and are cooperating with federal agencies to trace the perpetrators. Marion Kate, GMNA News, St. Niall.
Thanks for watching, Montreal. It was a memorable day with the rain forcing a 2-day delay at the National Bank Open. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Enjoy the evening, stay safe, keep an eye on the skies, and see you then.